Well, my friends, this is something that I don't do very often. I am going live on YouTube. It is, what is this, Saturday, June 27th, 2020. Have been playing around with simplifying my office, my studio space. I've got a video studio set up just for live streams and Zoom calls with a co-host on the other part of the Next Level Studio here. This is my new desk space here, and I'm testing out a simplified setup. I've got thousands of dollars worth of camera gear, and I've decided to just minimalize, get rid of all these big, huge, heavy duty tripods and all this other stuff. And instead, I'm using a Logitech Brio 4K webcam. And yes, I've got the EOS webcam utility that allows me to use all my DSLRs and mirrorless cameras as webcams. But even that is not as simple as what I've got going on right here. Now, what I'm doing is I'm just broadcasting for just a moment. It's been a very long time since I've broadcasted live on YouTube. So what I'd love to know is, have you been notified that I'm broadcasting live? Are you watching right now? If so, leave me a comment. More importantly, if you want, leave me a question and I'd love to say hello to you. So Lake is here. He says, I'm loving all the content you're creating as of late. Well, Lake, I'm glad to hear. I forgot to put that up there. I could put it up like that. But anyway, I'm thrilled to hear that you're enjoying the audio journal. It has been a blast to create all of that content and certainly much more of it to come. So when it comes to live streaming, I do a lot of live streaming on Facebook, mostly due to the fact that I have many thousands and thousands of people who are connected with me as friends and several thousand more who are following my account on my Facebook personal profile. And Marco here says, yes, I got a notification. Thank you, Marco, for letting me know that. That's awesome. I appreciate it. So when I've always had this thing. When I go live on Facebook, Facebook goes out and builds an audience for me, which I think is incredibly cool. And then let's see here. Jay says, hello, Cliff. Hello there, Jay. Glad to have you here. Thanks for popping in. Feel free to ask a question. I'm just testing out live on YouTube. I want to see how much engagement I get here. My previous attempts to go live on YouTube, unscheduled, have not met with a lot of engagement from people and not a lot of people showing up. So what I want to know is if that's changed since the last time I've done it, because since I've gone live on YouTube, because it's been a very long. I mean, it's been years since I've gone live on YouTube, and yeah. Let's see. So Lake is saying here, yes, I got notified. Will you be recording all chapters in Think and Grow Rich? That's the ideal right now. I am certainly inspired. The thing is so far I've created, what is it, 16 episodes, I think, for the first three. It's not even the first 3.5 chapters. It's for the first 3 chapters. So I've made it to page 54 of this book, and there's still this much more for me to get through. I'm assuming that I'm definitely devoted to this book and my own personal and professional development. And as long as I continue to feel inspired to just click on that microphone and fire it up and share more thoughts, then yeah, there'll be more of it. And I would like to get through the entire, or to record. I'm going to get through the entire book. I would like to record episodes of the audio journal on the entire book. And I've got bookshelves down here, more books down here to come that I would like to go through after that. So, yeah, one thing that's for sure, I'm only committed to creating content when I feel inspired. If I all of a sudden don't feel inspired, then content will slow down to a screeching halt. With the exception of the audio journal, there will always be a minimum of one episode per week of the audio journal. But yeah, so let's see here. This is that Cabby 1020 says, got the notification. What mic are you using right now? The sound is awesome. This right here is a Heil PR40, a Heil PR40, and it is a dynamic microphone, and it is incredibly awesome. Have had this microphone for over a decade, and I don't like to use any other microphone other than it. I have One, two, three. Actually, we have 3 of them here in the Next Level studio. Thanks for that question. Let's see here. Marco says Cliff's Book Club. Yes, the audio journal is turning into Cliff's Book Club and more, as you know. Well, I don't know if you know. Marco, are you an audio journal subscriber? I'm not sure if you know. No, I'm not going to do. Okay, so Lake says you should do a book club. Well, if that requires me to get on and do a bunch of engaging with other people and talking about the book, that would be something that probably would be more in line with what I would do with a group coaching program or with uh, my next level mastermind or something like that. Or yes, so just doing that publicly is just not something that would float my boat. When it comes to the content that I just put out into the world for free, it's more like just me hanging out, creating content, talking to you guys, stuff like that, engagement and things like that. I have to make sure that I don't allow myself to get distracted by too many other projects because I am fully committed to those who are paying me well for as clients in my next level mastermind and my one-on-one coaching. I mean, my next level mastermind members pay $2,250 a month to be in the group, and my one-on-one coaching clients pay a significant amount for my one-on-one coaching. So, and Lake says audio journal is sufficient for me. Awesome, and yeah, I would absolutely plan to continue that as long as the inspiration comes. I will continue to create it. Awesome. Well, let's see here. So it's cool to see that some of you have been. Oh, wow, Diana Gladney. Now here's a name I haven't seen in a live stream on one of the lives I've done. She says, laughing out loud, I was just listening to the latest upload when I saw you were live. Well, hello, Diana. So glad to see you here. I am just checking out. I'm using Ecamm software, Ecamm Live, and I was just talking about the fact that I use Ecamm Live to broadcast to Facebook. I've also been using, I don't know if you can hear that in the background. There's a little dog squeaky toy. My dog is down here because Stephanie and the girls went to a baby shower, and I'm on puppy sitting duty. And he's over there in his crate playing with his toys, and he found one of his squeaky ones. But I don't know if you can actually hear that. Because the Rodecaster Pro has a gate on when I'm not talking, and when I am talking. Leo, what are you doing? Are you good? All right. I might actually have to end this stream. It's been a while since he's gone outside. I don't think that he would go to the bathroom inside of his crate, but just the stance that he just did. I think he actually just got up because he might have heard something, and yeah, he's good. He's going back to playing with his toy. All right. What was I saying? I was in the middle of something right before Leo took that special stance over there. Oh, so I typically have been using Ecamm Live to go live to Facebook. But I've been using Ecamm's record only feature for recording some stuff where I don't necessarily even want a live audience. I just want to record something for video production purpose only. So, for example, I just recorded, was it episode 647 of the Cliff Ravenscraft Show, titled Are you ready to start charging for your coaching?" or something like that. And I didn't want a live audience, but I did want to record it in video. I wanted to look into the camera, and so I turned on Ecamm and just hit record only, and it recorded everything. And then once I was done, it says, "Do you want to upload this to YouTube?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" And so it did. And then I took of course, Ecamm puts it into my local folder, and I just took that recording and uploaded it to Facebook as well. There's sometimes I want to do live, sometimes I'm not that interested in doing live and having the live audience. I prefer to do live when I have the intention of engaging with the people who are leaving comments. All right, Marco says, let's see here. Marco says, I'm not a subscriber, but I think a subscription would serve me. Marco, I would love to have you as an audio journal subscriber. Are you familiar with what the audio journal is? For up until just recently, the audio journal has been a show that is a journal in audio form of what I'm experiencing in my personal and professional growth. And it's mostly business related stuff. And let's see here. We lost you. At least I did. So is there anybody else that has lost me? Of course, I can click this little thing here and preview it. Yeah, it's still going. So I think we're good. Anyway, but it has the audio journal has been an audio journal of me talking about all of the behind the scenes things that are happening in my business, the decisions I'm making in my business, the mistakes that I have made in my business, the failures I've had in my business. Okay, Diana says I'm not seeing any issues. Thank you so much for that, Diana. But yeah, so it's I mean, it's raw, it's real, and it, I've had some of the wildest financial pressures than I've ever experienced since 2008 when I first started my business. I talk about this very clearly. I talk about how launching the Free the Dream conference, while the conference itself was massively successful on every front except for financially, that financial front was very challenging. I dug myself into a $38,000 hole because of my focus on Free the Dream, my lack of knowing how to market aggressively a live event, and because of that focus, as people were beyond their 1 year commitment to the next level mastermind, that income started to come down. And instead of pursuing new clients to fill those empty spots, I said, don't worry about it, Cliff. You're going to make it up for it in the profit on Free the Dream. But then I pretty much just broke even on Free the Dream. And so basically, I imagine me, I'm in a $38,000 hole. And thankfully, we were able to continue to get by our entire family of five with no problem at all. Thankfully, we had an emergency fund, but there were several months where that emergency fund, we had an emergency. And so the good news is that in the audio journal, I share all of this. I share all the reasons why I know that I failed financially to market that event the way that I had hoped to. My dog's over there scratching for his little bone that fell out of his crate. Poor guy. Anyway, so I talk about all the things that I learned about that, but not only that, but I share step by step how I paid all of that off. How did I actually get my income straight back up to where it needed to be, and how did I come up with a $38,000 above and beyond what I normally would have? Relatively easily. However, when I say relatively easily, that's if you watch the long story. So there, from November 2018 until just recently, there were 167 episodes just sharing this journey. And of course, now I'm in a place over the past year, actually, almost exactly 1 year. What I've learned over the last year and what I've implemented over the last year based upon all the failures that I've had. And trust me, I'm looking forward to my next failures because failures help me grow and I learn more new things. But man, what I've implemented over the last year, I have more margin in my life than ever before, and my recurring revenue is as high as it's ever been. Actually, it's higher than it's ever been. And there are months that it just blows my mind that I'm only working 3 days a week. So I made a commitment at the end of last year. I'm only going to work 3 days a week as far as scheduled calls with people. So I only work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I have every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday with nothing on my calendar. No commitments to be at any place at any time with anyone for any reason. And that gives me all the time in the world to get into books like Think and Grow Rich and just absolutely devour these books. And it gives me time to just go out and have recreation. It gives me time to go to the gym. And so the audio journal, imagine is this, it's literally just telling you the story of how I came to be in the place I am today. And it's been an incredible story. And then just in 1 week, I recorded 16 episodes related to the first 3.5 chapters of my thoughts and processing on the book Think and Grow Rich. So I think it would serve you well, and I would love to have you as a subscriber. Just head over to mindsetanswerman.com/audio journal, mindsetanswerman.com/audio journal, or patreon.com/Cliff Ravenscraft. Jason Arnold is there. Hi, Cliff. Hi, all. Hello, Jason Arnold. Glad to have you here. And Marco says, I've listened to the free recordings, but I'm a longtime follower of your content, so I think I know what to expect. Well, Marco, I think that that is awesome. And Yeah. I think you'll be shocked at how authentic and how transparent and just how much detail I share in that podcast, especially those earlier episodes. Let's see here. Lewis B says, "Oh man, just caught this live stream. Hello, Cliff and everyone." Hello, Lewis B. Glad to have you here. And Lewis also says hello to Jason Arnold. So this is cool. Okay. Um, I, I'll tell you what, I am thrilled that this has happened. I'm thrilled that I did a little live stream here test on YouTube because, well, I would not have thought that I would get this much engagement. I mean, YouTube actually went out to my 8,000 some odd subscribers and said, "Hey, Cliff's live," and you guys came. That's cool. That didn't happen the last time that I did this. Now I know that I could go and schedule something, and then folks would come, but it's kind of nice to see that YouTube is doing its job to build an audience for somebody that's gone live, much in the way that Facebook would do for me. So that's cool. Diana says, "Are you still using the Roland recorder for your audio journals?" Only when I go out for a walk. So I have the Roland R-07 when I go outside for a walk to record my audio journals. But a lot of my audio journals are also here in the studio, and I'm just using this setup exactly like you see here. And especially my audio journals, which are like, so I started, Diana, I started a series called Cliff's Notes on Think and Grow Rich, the what do you call it? Uh, gosh, the philosophy of success taught by Napoleon Hill. This book right here was first published in 1937, and hundreds of thousands of people around the world attribute their ability to amass great wealth to the insights that they got from this book. And let's see here. Diana says, "I love the ambient sounds you hear when walking." Yeah, so there's definitely more of those things. So yeah, absolutely. Uh, that I have a bunch of audio journal. The cool thing about the audio journal is the audio journal takes all the pressure off. It's only for true fans. It's only people who really already know, like, and trust me, who would love to hear anything and everything that I would put out into the world, and it gives me the freedom. It's matter of fact, that's why I've always been continuing to create content for the audio journal. But for the Cliff Ravenscraft show, I attempt to only come to the Cliff Ravenscraft show if, number one, I'm inspired, and number two, what I create for that show is something that is worthy of being someone's first impression of Cliff Ravenscraft. All right. So yeah, and not everything that I create would I want to be somebody's first impression. And it's certainly walking out with my digital audio recorder and ambient sounds as cars are driving by and dogs are barking in the background. That's not something that would make it into the Cliff Ravenscraft show. So a lot goes into the audio journal. The audio journal by far is my favorite podcast. Well, here's somebody new, Chris Cog. So Chris Cog says, "Hello, hello, Chris. Glad to have you here." So yeah, and then Lewis B says, "It makes sense. Awesome." Chris says, "I enjoyed hearing you talk about your mastermind group. Awesome." Chris, here's something that's cool about being live here on Facebook. I don't recognize your name. Now, of course, I'm going to feel like a heel if you say, "Cliff, we've talked like 3 or 4 times in other venues," but I don't. I'm pretty good at knowing my community, and tell me, have we chatted before? And the thing is I go live on Facebook. I've gone live a lot of times on Facebook, and I've never seen your name pop up in a Facebook Live. So it's kind of cool to see some people who may have been subscribed to my YouTube channel here for several years, or maybe even just recently. And now, because I'm going live on YouTube, I'm getting you guys to show up here. So Chris, I don't know. Let me know if you're still watching. Let's see. Lake says, "Which Cliff Ravenscraft shows do I need to catch of the last couple that dropped, or are they all part of the audio journal?" Lake, you know what? I would just encourage you to just click play, and the ones that are a part of the audio journal will be immediately, um, it'll be immediately understood that it's the audio journal, because as soon as my intro music plays, I'll say, "Hey, I'm going to share with you an episode that was the audio journal." The thing is I've created 29 pieces of content in the last 8 days, and it's just too hard for me to remember off the top of my head which one all of those were. But like I promise you, if you just click play, you're not going to get too far into the Cliff Ravenscraft show without realizing that I'm setting up the recording playback of an audio journal episode. Marco says, for a true fan, every episode of the Cliff Ravenscraft has something valuable in it. So let me talk about that. That's exactly why there's the audio journal. See, okay, here's the thing. For a true fan, every episode of anything I put out would have something of value in it. Whether that's me just sitting here going live with like this right here for you, if Marco, assuming that you're this true fan, right? So if you're a true fan, Cliff Ravenscraft going live on YouTube and having no idea about what he's going to say and talking about himself in the third person currently would even, I mean, just this alone would be valuable. But the replay of this video, somebody who is just coming across my channel and they click play on this, not so much. Not to say that there wouldn't be anything valuable in this to a newcomer who has no idea who I am. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that coming to this video that just randomly shows up in my YouTube feed, if this was the first video that somebody is watching, this just isn't the kind of first impression that I'd like to make. So when it comes to content, and of course YouTube, I take the Cliff Ravenscraft show, I take my podcast a whole lot more serious than my YouTube channel. Although I at times think that I should probably take my YouTube channel a whole lot more serious as well. And if that's the case, then if I do go live on YouTube, it won't just be for a test and say, hey, let's talk about this and let's play around with things. Although who knows, maybe it will be. But yeah, for a true fan, every episode of the Cliff Ravenscraft show is not only going to have something valuable in it, but it's also going to be something that a true fan will enjoy. That it's just that I was putting out a lot of episodes of the Cliff Ravenscraft show a while back, and I'm talking like a year ago, and certainly much more than a year before that. I was putting a lot of content into the Cliff Ravenscraft show that I felt really spoke to my core audience, but wasn't great at retaining somebody who's just testing out my show for the first time. And this is something I just knew for a fact. All right. Let's see here. Louis B says, Chris Cog lost. Hey man, back in the day. Okay, so you were back in the Lost podcast days with Cliff and Stephanie. That's been a while, dude. So you've been around a while. So have you been subscribed to my YouTube channel like all the way back to, I guess, when I start this thing, 2006? It was before Google bought them. Anyway, that's fun. So cool. Is that why you have the logo? Because I remember they had the little test pattern logo on one of the videos inside of the hatch. Do you remember that? Lake says, loving how inspired you are. Yes. And so cool. Yeah, I'm loving it as well. It's been a while since I've created this much content, and I'm just on fire these days. And a ton of it has to do with what I've been recently getting out of here. By the way, just a little side note, since I am doing this as a test of a live stream, one of the things that I did here, I'm using the Logitech Brio 4K webcam. And one of the things that I went in is there's a Logitech camera settings app that you can download. And I have to remember to do this. I'm really liking this because I've gone in and I've turned off the autofocus feature. So earlier when I did Cliff Ravenscraft show episode 647 and I upload that YouTube, I noticed that sometimes if I backed up or something like this, the camera, I would go out of focus and I would see it adjusting, and it would kind of go back and forth just a little bit, and then it finally get my focus back. But what I just did is I just went into the settings and said turn off the autofocus, and I like the fact that it hasn't gone in and out of focus at all. Another thing that I was doing is I pulled out my Canon 60D because I learned that the EOS webcam utility for Mac will work for the Canon EOS 60D, and that's cool. It worked. It looked good. It didn't have the lenses I have don't have enough low light in them. So the aperture is not big enough for me to really enjoy the the vibrance of the thing compared to this Logitech camera, which is crazy. But of course, I have the bokeh, so the only thing is I would go for the bokeh, and I could adjust the brightness if I needed to, or I could get a different lens. But the one thing that keeps me from wanting to use the EOS Canon 60D and using that webcam utility and using that as my webcam is the fact that it requires battery operation. So, and my Canon EOS 60D is at least 7 or 8 years old. And so the batteries that I have for it are that old as well, and I don't know how long those would last. Supposedly, somebody says that he went out and got the little fake battery that you can plug up into the battery compartment and then plug it into the wall. He says, but when he did that, he got a notification that this device doesn't work on the screen. So anyway, yeah. So there we go. YouTube Live. How about that? Interesting. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. And when you saw me, this is cool. I guess I'll leave this up. And hopefully somebody who came along saw some value in it. But thank you. And more content to come. Until next time, I encourage each and every one of you to take everything you do to the next level. And I'm going to play out my little Mindset Answer Man jingle. Mindset Answer Man.